Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Fuse Show. And today we have Sam Xia of WikiPro.us. Today's title is Business Texting, the Trend in Best Practices, and our tagline is Text, Engage, and Convert. Today we have our very own co-founder and CTO of WikiPro Inc. Prior to joining WikiPro, he's worked at a couple of tech companies where he's enjoyed solving real problems on a big scale. He's also a co-inventor of a lot of U.S. patents. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, David, and it's nice to be with you.
So let's just get started talking about your business. What are you trying to do, and how's it going so far?
Yeah, so actually, the WikiPro story, it started like actually, I think 4.5 years ago. And then my co-founder and the CEO, Michael, he approached me. He said, "Oh, I got an idea." And because he's a CPA, he owns a few successful CPA firm. So one of the main problems that he has is that, oh, I spend a lot of time to try to communicate with my client. My client not happy, I'm not happy because the information is not flowing.
Hmm.
And he said there gotta be a solution to solve this problem. So then he asked me to help him out, and then basically I work on the site, and I did some like a MVP product for him. And then he used it in his firm. It's hugely successful. And then later on we thought, okay, this we can also other professionals have the same problem, like either accountant, lawyers,
Mhm.
doctors, dentists, maybe flooring company, jewelry company, how they reach their customer. There's a problem. Basically, you need to both sides they won't have the information and like a seamlessly flowing, and then everybody want to get information like yesterday. They don't want to wait. So basically, then we initially we called the company called TaxCom, and then later on we saw this seems to apply to all the industry, all the professionals. We make it a name called a WikiPro, and so it's basically it's a SaaS product to help professionals how they can send text message to the customer, engage with the customer using text message, and then how to convert a potential customer to like a finished, paid client. So our tagline is called text, engage, and convert. And it does that. And WikiPro and have been work with this one. So as you I just talked about it like about more than 4 years.
Mhm.
And then really just when we rolled out, and then there are other customers that they love it, and really we solve a big problem, and and then it's working nicely for them.
So when your friend first reached out to you to help build a solution, did you have any idea that it would actually turn into a company of its own, or were you just looking to help out a friend?
No, it's just a side project, right? The
Mhm.
side project, you get some, maybe, he said, oh, I can give you X dollars with some side income. I have my regular job, but personally, I am very interested in like this, like turning ideas into a business.
Mhm.
I know, I'm, I think I'm an entrepreneur. I started a few companies myself, and then don't know where it's going, but initially I just want to solve the problem. I somehow have some like a passive income, so then I might as well just do it, yeah, right? So yeah, it just always always keep open minded, and then because you never know what's going to happen. If you don't try, nothing's going to happen for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did you have a go-to-market strategy when you first realized that more people than just your friend could benefit from what you've built, or did you figure it out on the fly?
No, we don't. Basically, yeah, we figured it out just later on, and in the beginning, just solve his problem, right? And then we saw it's working, and then later on, we got to figure out that because I'm a technologist and I build product, and so the go-to-market like a strategies. Just later on, we just like a try and error, and then it's basically digital marketing. Like you have several channels. Basically, we just try to figure out which one works for us at our in our business, which one does not. Basically, you have to try it out. There's no, I guess, what I try to say. There's no magic bullet say, oh, this is gonna work, this is not gonna work. Basically, you have to try it out. But of course, if you get some, people, they are specific in doing SaaS product marketing. You can save time. But for us, we as a founder, we have to figure it out. Nobody will tell you what to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which channel has worked the best for you so far?
So for actually the best channel for us, just yeah, it has been just the email marketing has been work the best. I mean, I say work the best because it's the most cost effective.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's just the other channel we're trying, we're testing now, but so far, this is the most effective way.
And is that something you run in-house?
Oh yes, we run in house. Yes.
So how'd you learn who was the best type of person to email market to?
Yeah, basically you have to first, figure out, let's say your product, you know, what's the target market, right? Because don't know what kind of, let's say maybe you're building ABC widget. This ABC
Hmm.
widget solve a problem for this, this vertical, and then you need go all in for that vertical. Basically, you gotta focus, and you can say, oh, I just want to focus everybody because everybody is gonna have the same problem. But then you gotta say, oh, which vertical would has the most impact,
Hmm.
and then you go after it, focus, and then just repeat and rinse, and and just try it out.
How long did it take you to narrow down your focus in your just the email channel alone?
Yeah, actually, for us, in the beginning, since the CPA, right, we try to focus on the accounting. We focus on accounting, and then later on, we expand to other industry. But in the beginning, pretty much we just focus on accounting because since the product is used by accountant successfully, we know it's going to work for other accountants.
So do you have a preferred set of platforms or tools, for example, like LinkedIn Sales Navigator or Apollo?
The LinkedIn, yeah, glad that you say that, and I think we're going to try to see LinkedIn because
Okay.
we are like a B2B sale,
Yeah.
and LinkedIn seems to be you can do highly targeted, and yeah, but yeah, I think we're going to explore LinkedIn. Yeah, we have not
So,
yeah, we have not use start LinkedIn yet, but we will explore
hmm.
maybe in the next month or so.
So for the emails you're sending out right now, how are you getting this information? Like which source do you use?
Yeah, so basically, we have some blog, and then we also have some, this is an industrial association, and then basically based on those one, you can get those information.
I see. Okay. So it's okay. That's pretty neat.
Uh-huh.
Have you noticed that COVID has affected your business in any way?
Yes, yes, of course, yes or no. And because of COVID, now this is something called contactless economy.
Hmm.
And fortunately, unfortunately, I think we feel into this contactless economy. So what it is that, let's say, for the professionals, in order for them to help their customers, and then the customers also cannot go to their office. So that's a big change, right? So
Hmm.
before you can say, oh, have an office visit, but now you don't want to have an office visit, or actually the customer don't want to visit. So now you need a way to how to help your customers, right? And then actually our tool help you nicely with that regard. Because why? Because people, like I think everybody got a cell phone. Everybody has the text installed by default.
Hmm.
So the best way to have a contact list, like a engagement, is just send a text message. Right? So that's feel naturally because pretty much our platform, we're like an all-in-one system. Everything, all our products building around text message.
Hmm.
And text pretty much is versus email. I'm talking about the B2C, business to
Hmm.
client, because the text open rate is like 98%, email is 20%, and then text response time in average 90 seconds, and for email it's like 10 hours. Sometimes it's never, right? So basically, when you as a business owner, when you try to help your customer with text message, you know, really because our system is real time. You send a message and then everything everybody got it in real time. And people,
Hmm.
you know, you're gonna respond information much more quickly. And then information is just, it's just like water flowing. It just
Hmm.
happens. All right. So basically, for example, let's say if you have a new client, they ask you a question. Oh, can we set up like a engagement letter. You know, Basically sometimes for professional you need to have engagement letter. You just send in a text, and we have like a text to e-sign feature. You can get document signed,
Hmm.
very quickly. And then after you sign the document, you say, oh, now I can, send you some document, some files. You can text them as well. They can text back their document. For example, maybe they have some, let's say for tax, right? You typically the tax, you need to exchange your information to your CPA, and then they will, everything goes through text. And then, if there's an extreme case that, you still cannot solve it out, we also have like you can do a video chat, and then there's no app to install. You don't need to download another app for client. Because for client, if no matter is old client, they don't know how to act anything.
Hmm.
Then for new client, even the younger generation, since everybody do text, if you engage everything through text message, a lot of things is just, it just happen. Basically, you don't have to think about it or why it happened, but it
Hmm.
just happened. The experience is complete different. So basically, we build around all the tools around our texting platform. And then there's one more thing that we do is that we can also enable your office landline number, like a business phone number, and enable that number to receive and send text message. That
Hmm.
by itself is very powerful because
Hmm.
as a business, typically you have a landline number. Maybe that's 10 years, whatever your business exists, and people may already send you a text message, but you cannot receive those.
Hmm.
Basically, those information is like a lost opportunity. And because a lot of businesses don't understand that, oh, I have a landline number, how do I receive text? But
Hmm.
people send you text anyway. So basically with WikiPro, we just solve that problem nicely. Basically, you can send, people can call or text you with the same business phone number. You can have all the information exchange. You can engage your customer. And then also we have like a text to pay feature, meaning that, once all things is done and, and you are ready to connect payment, you can send them text message, and then they just click on link, either pay you by credit card or by a bank or ACH, and then you get your money right away. And when people find the convenience to pay you, they will pay right away. Otherwise, you will have to have somebody just call them and
Hmm.
say, "Hey, can you pay me? Can you pay me?" That take a lot of time and resource. But instead, this one, you just because everything flows in the text conversation, it is happening a lot more smoothly. Yeah.
Did you build the payment transaction system in-house, or do you use a like common third-party platform to facilitate those ACH and credit card payments?
Oh, that's a good question. So the ACH, there's like a PCI compliance. There's a lot
Okay.
of compliance for that. So basically, we use a company called Stripe, and
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we use Stripe, and basically they are the like credit card processor or bank processor, and then we integrate the Stripe into our system.
Do you upcharge anything on top of the Stripe fees for your customers, or do you just um, give them whatever you paid to Stripe?
No, we don't charge anything. Yeah,
Okay.
we because our product we try to make it simple for our
Hmm.
customers. We like people pay a monthly fee based on the feature they want, and then
Hmm.
we do not charge anything. Yeah. But for additional credit card transaction fee. Yeah.
So I took a look at your website and I took a look at the price points, and I feel like your price is pretty competitive for the feature set it offers. How do
Yeah.
you get your? So I guess the question I'm getting to: how big is your sales team now, and how do you get your product in front of those people that you can really think benefit from your platform?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Our price is very competitive, and just we do that because there's like a few big fish in the pond, and this is like a blue whale. It's
Hmm.
competitive, and we try to compete with our like a product innovation because our product, I feel pretty proud of what we our team has accomplished.
Hmm.
And then those there are bigger companies with a lot of like outside of VC fund. However, for us, we our team we build a product. I think in some regard it's very competitive, and we have our own ideas and how we implement our project, and so we bid on the product on their own game. And then so here so just basically the sales and marketing effort. Actually, the main thing here is that how do we educate our customer to know there's such a thing? Because most
Hmm.
people they don't know. Oh, I can reach my customer by text message because most people are business owner.
Hmm.
What they do, they just use their own cell phone, or maybe they have like an employee to use their own cell phone to do business for their customers. But then there's like a problem to that because let's say if you have an employee doing business with you with their personal cell phone, if they go away, okay, all the business go with them, right? And then that's number one problem. And the
Hmm.
another problem is that okay, so somebody send a message to employee A. If employee A is not, is let's say is on vacation or basically the other employee doesn't know what's going on. You basically, the information is just like a solo in person's cell phone. And then
Hmm.
finally, your cell phone is not built to send like a message to 100 customer. You get lost, right? But
Hmm.
our system just solve all this problem I just mentioned, right? So basically, it's like a shared chat. I mean, it's like a group chat. It's
Hmm.
actually so when you send a message out, or your authorized employee or the owner, they will see all the chat history. So like it's like what's going on, and then you can set permissions, say who can do what in our system. And then also our chat is that you can search. We build a search full text search feature, and you know so if sometimes you forgot something, you can also search back. And also we build
Hmm.
some CRM features. So if you have hundreds or thousands of customers, you quickly locate the customer and have a conversation with them. Yeah. So basically our system actually for our existing customer, they're pretty happy, and we got some customer from our customers because
I
they say,
see.
oh, well, really, I don't know there's such a tool exists like this. It's really when they use it, they really like it.
Do you have a built-in referral system so one customer can refer another customer and they both get something out of it?
Oh yes, so we do. We do have a
Okay.
referring system. Yeah, the referring system right now we design in, basically, let's say if you refer something, you get, like a 4 months of free, and the other person get like 1 month of credit.
Hmm.
It's basically a tool. Mhm.
Do you track the analytics in that? Like, what percentage of your signups come from referrals as opposed to some other channel?
Yeah, right now the referrer is coming. I think it's around 10%. Yeah,
10%? Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah, it's okay because people, they're busy. Sometimes you have to ask for it.
And then out of that the remaining 90%, how would you split that up by like different channels?
So basically, we have some, Google campaign. I mean, the
Hmm.
CPC campaign, and it's very expensive, Google, and Yeah, and also in our space is, since it's very competitive, right? You bid a lot of things. I think, so that's why we want to explore, let's say, for the
Mhm.
LinkedIn, and it may make sense for us to, to shift in dollars from Google to LinkedIn, and we find our vertical, and then we go to LinkedIn to, to target our audience.
I think LinkedIn automation would be a good fit for your business if you haven't explored yet. I can't
Um,
promise it's going to work miracles or anything, but it does seem to be a good viable option if the CPC costs are pretty high.
yeah, 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 yeah. So basically, yeah, Google, I think their system is like a greedy system, and then especially sometimes, you get like a, maybe sometimes you get a $30 click. I don't know what happened, but I think their AI is trying to do their best, right, to convert. But then, but on the other hand, since you just buy a single turn, sometimes you cannot figure it out, and then, so yeah, so I think LinkedIn it might work for us. Yeah.
Have you reached the point where you're confident where if you put an X amount of dollars into Google that you'll get Y dollars amount 1 year from now? Or have you not figured that out yet?
No, for Google,
Okay.
I don't think I have a like positive result.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I think I've heard the same thing from a lot of other founders as well, where it takes a lot to hit that net profitable point off of Google Ads.
Yes, I think Google, um, over the years it has evolved, and people just think that you can just throw money at Google get the result. And unfortunately, I think that becomes, it's kind of hard. And not saying that, it's never going to work, but I'm sure it's going to work for certain industry. And
Mhm.
also we have engaged like third party, like a marketing consultant to work for our Google account, and I don't see the, good result. So basically,
Mhm.
pretty much, I kind of like, yeah, yeah, it's just yeah, I guess just you just try it out because it works for you. You cannot just say I throw $100,000 on Google. Hopefully you make it like $200,000. Doesn't work that way. You have to test, maybe just test water, and hopefully it works for you. And but in our case, I think I'm kind of like a, you know, I kind of like a just trying to hand up on Google. Yeah.
So, email marketing is something you are currently investigating and doing. You have tried CPC through Google. What else have you tried?
I think that's pretty much it. And the other one is the content marketing, right?
Okay.
Content marketing, we've been trying to write blogs
Yeah.
into our website. And then the other thing is you have to do the search engine optimization, right? So that's like a never-ending game.
Hmm.
Basically you just want to get some Google out, and then to do that you have to have good content, and also you have to have people linked to you, right? So actually all these things they are not easy. Actually, this how to get a ranking in Google,
Hmm.
and but it is how to say in in our space, it- yeah, I guess because it's competitive. So Google, there, you have to constantly work on it, try to work in content strategy. So basically, that's the other strategy.
How big is your team right now? And what's the distribution between the different divisions?
Yeah, our team is kind of we're a small team. We're like around 10, 10 plus people, right? So basically, the majority are under me on in development.
I see.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then we have some some we do email, do outbound, right? Some of them are inbound. People just find us, and then
Hmm.
the trial system, then they sign up. It's a mixture.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, with a relatively small team, do you find yourself able to balance your personal life and your work life fairly well?
Yeah, I think it works out, and because I now everybody works on remote, right? And then work at home, and then but as an entrepreneur, you never there's no downtime for you. You always think
Hmm.
about how to make things better, how to build this, how to improve this performance, how to fix this bug, how to add another feature that a customer is asking. So, but I would think that building a company is my my personal passion. I'm passionate
Hmm.
about it, So you don't feel like that, oh, I'm bogged down. If you do something you like, you don't feel like it's an issue. But of course, let's say to balance the bad life, like the life work life balance, over the weekend, I may take a hike, and then going out, and yeah, I think yeah, it's okay.
Earlier in this call, you mentioned how you founded a couple of previous businesses. Out
Mhm.
of the, or which number business is WikiPro?
Which
This
is
is your like
oh,
third
okay.
business, fourth business?
Yeah. Actually, like I have been working on startup all my life, and
Mhm.
didn't work on any big company. And actually, in 1999, I came to United States and with H1 visa, and I really appreciated that. I work with the chief scientist, and the company I work on is a very big company that has a huge impact on my career in US, right? So I got my green card, and then there in that company, because the company what they do is called a fingerprint. Like right now, let's say I have this laptop, this MacBook Pro, with a
Mhm.
fingerprint sensor, and which that's what we build. We build a fingerprint sensor,
Hmm.
and then you could use for the verification identification, right? So I was working on the how to recognize your finger. So basically pattern recognition, image processing. At the times, I guess, as I try to say, I've been working there, and then later on the company is at that time it's dot com boom, right? And there's a
Mhm.
lot of money. Unfortunately, people run out of money before 911. And then so basically that's that. And then later on I work on another company, which is you know my boss. He referred me to his friend's company. I worked for a couple of years, and then I work there, build their software team, build a complete product. They're doing something called a microarray, so for imaging, so to detect where you have a gene mutation, right? So
Hmm.
basically, to diagnose the disease. And then after that, I started my own company called Local. I worked at the company for a year. I built a product, and then the company was sold to local.com. And
I see.
yeah, my company was Local, and local.com acquired Local. But basically, they acquired all the technology. So then I have been working on local.com ever since. And then I started my other like a company in computer science, right? And
Hmm.
as a startup as well. And what it is just we try to do white label of a Uber like platform to other taxi companies. Okay, so basically that's science, right? And then there's some other like I did a few other like a side project as well, but in WikiPro so far I've been enjoying this one because it really the problem, how to say, the problem is big. I mean, market is big, and then the problem I solve is challenging, and also it is very enjoying. And then so basically, our solution is being used by different, professionals, and really, I really enjoy.
What challenge do you face within WikiPro that would you say excites you the most?
I think the most, technology, all the technology problem, it is solved, or I know how to solve it, and I
Hmm.
don't have barrier for that. And then the biggest puzzle for me right now is the marketing and the sales. That's the puzzle. So basically, I know that we're gonna explore LinkedIn, right? And then you know, I think so far in the company, actually, our sales marketing it goes well, but you just wish it can go better, right? Because our
Hmm.
product, when people say that you have such a good, nice product, right? There are more people, right? You can reach more people. But then the question is how you reach those people. If people don't know there's such a thing, it's kind of hard, because in this day you cannot do cold calling, nobody answer call, right? So basically you have to reach the right audience at the right time and then at the right price. So those are the things that I think is most challenging to me.
Hmm. How would you say your past experiences working in startups has helped form who you are today?
Yeah, and my past experience on those things, I think first of all, it helped me on the technology competence, right? Because really just I have been working on different industry and I can switch from industry to industry at ease. Because I think like the technology, I'm not saying that it's not a barrier for me, but I say
Hmm.
I'm good at it.
Hmm.
I can build a team, build like winning teams, and add you know competitive pricing. Basically, if you throw any money at anything, you can solve it. But then the problem here is that I can solve a problem at a fraction of the cost of our competitor. So that's a
Hmm.
competitive advantage, I think. And then second of all, when I build startups, you need to deal with customers, right? So you will always have to have like a customer first thought. So meaning that, when you build something, when you try to sell the customer, their receiver, they think may be different than what initially envisioned. So you have to adapt. You have to solve their problem because in the end is they are paying the service, right? You cannot
Hmm.
build something in a vacuum. Say, oh, I have this one, you use it, or it is my way or the highway, right? But then you have to listen to customer, get feedback, and then I think that for this one, my previous experience really helped me in this regard. So you have a thinking of how to think out of customer thinking, customer first thinking.
Hmm.
And then, I think lastly, those experiences help me to basically, to be more how to say, to be more persistent. Right? So you know that, oh, if you want to do something, just always try your best, do your best, work your best, and enjoy the journey. And then outcome may be good, may not be good, but then you just need to enjoy the journey. That's how you start up.
Have you ever heard of the phrase customer obsession?
Customer session, I don't know if I heard of that, but then it's like there's a company like Amazon, right? They say I think they have something customer first is in their one of their like in their company mission statement or something like
Hmm.
that. They have to say, oh, you have to be customer first. I mean,
I think the
customer first.
phrase. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Really, just it's really it doesn't. It's not something that you put in your wall or you need to have it do that way. Yeah, basically you have to really just be customer first.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the phrase customer obsession comes from Jeff Bezos and his incorporation of it into the Amazon culture
Oh,
in
I
terms
see.
of, yeah, the idea is they want to have these cultural values play
Okay,
out in
yeah.
every role and every domain of the business just to make sure that the customer remains the core of the business and will always be that way. And I thought that's a pretty cool concept. I just figured I'd bring it up because I thought you might have heard of it or
Yeah,
maybe you
yeah,
pulled
yeah.
something from
I
it
think I,
yourself.
mean, I might read it somewhere. I may borrow from
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but that's exactly right. Yeah.
While we're on the topic of like company culture, how would you say you run your company? Like, what are some of the cultural values that you think are really important to you and your business when you both when you hire and when you make decisions within your business?
Yeah, I think the culture we see now, let's say, you have there's the in software domain called agile development.
Hmm.
So, let's say in startup, you have to be agile. Yeah. So, in corporate or bigger corporation, you may have like a, boss, right? And then, but in startup world, actually everybody's their own boss. You have
Hmm.
to run fast. And then, when you try something, right? You try something, it may or may not work, but hopefully you're right most of the time, right? So let's say for the leader technology is a founder in a startup company, you have to be most of the time. If you're wrong all the time, you might as well just close business, right? So basically you have to have you intuitive to do the right thing, and then you have to run fast. It's really
Hmm.
running fast. And let's say if you want to software release, can you release every day? Can you release every times of day? Right? So you cannot just say I wait for or doing market research, okay? and or doing whatever study, customer study. I think a big company might do that, but for startup, really you have to just for listen to your gut and then just have something out, and then you listen to customers' feedback. You cannot just say, "Oh, ask customer what you want." Basically, they don't know what you want unless you give them. Then they will give feedback. Yeah. So it's like you have to run fast. Yeah. And then yeah, I think that's the most important lesson. That is to me. Yeah.
And how do you hire people that have that shared philosophy?
Yeah, so some of this employee come from my previous, work relationship, so they know me, I know them.
Mm.
Yeah, so basically, it's like I when I work with people, I try to, some people work well with me, and then I try to bring them on, and then they know that I'm doing something good, and then they will tell their friend,
Mm.
and then it's like all the hirings from those inner circle. But some of the hirings doesn't pans out, but then you just turn away. But in the end, it's just all the good people, and they just keep on doing with what they do. Yeah, that's that's how it works. Yeah, so basically, I don't use them like head counter and I don't do those kind of like so weird tests. Sometimes you have to run some tests. I know that Google, Amazon, they all have their test, whatever test, right? And then you need to study 6 months for those tests, and people do that. And I don't think that's, at least for startup, that's not going to work. And
Mm.
you really just you study for startup, you have to be agile, run fast. You have to have a can-do attitude. Okay, you just do it, right? And you cannot just how to say, I'm not saying those are BS, but I think just trying to do some of those quiz is kind of like you turn good people away, and because they're good people, they're always trying to solve a good problem. But then this is my opinion, right? So if some people take 6 months to take your test, then your test is wrong. You cannot do that, because in real life, when I'm doing programming, I don't need to take 6 months to figure that program, right? I need to
Mhm.
release it tomorrow. And so, it's, yeah, so that's how, I mean, just in my work, that's how I think it should work.
So when you're interviewing someone, what would you typically ask them to like figure those components out? Like how would you discern that they're a good cultural fit for your business or not? Even if they are a referral, like what would you ask them?
Yeah, so basically, I will just, instead of, I will ask like a few questions. Basically, I use the basic question, right? So first, it was you're competent. Competent mean I'm not asking those like you think hard or whatever. This is like sometimes Google has those kind of strange questions.
Hmm.
You'll be very starting that in order to get it, but a very straightforward question, and then use a program language that you can solve. I mean, simple question, not a complicated question. And then second of all, just look at their education, their working experience, and then, whether they have done, what kind of experience they have, whether they can use it. And then lastly, we talk about what's their personality, right? Whether they are coachable or not coachable, or are the team player, are they have too much ego just for themselves? Let's say, are they not willing to work overtime if required, right? So all those kind of things, yeah, whether they have like a plus to the team or minus to the team, right? Some people may be very good, but then they add to the team, they just cannot play. It makes the team worse. They have to make the team better, not make the team worse. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any lessons that you've been learning recently that you wish you knew 10 years ago?
Lesson learned today, which I know. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, yeah, actually, I don't know that anything 10 years ago. 10 years ago versus now. Yeah, the only thing I can say, because 10 years is a long time, right? And then, when I start something, I say, oh, can we this to be my last business? I always think that way. I don't want to start another 10 years because I
Mm.
will be old, right? So basically, my urgency is a lot higher, I think, than 10 years ago to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's my honest. Like in 10 years, you may fail. Like if you're young, you can fail a few times. But if let's say you're getting, middle age like me, You don't want to, oh, I just start over again. I just try, may not work. All right. You just want to have your effort 110%. Right? So you don't run that extra mile. Yeah. And then 10 years ago, I think that I don't know about how to do the sales and marketing. I think that one don't, but at least right now, you know, I'm still learning, but I know some of the sales and marketing. And as a tech guy, like before, I just try to build a product, right? That got me the best, right? But then you don't think of how I market it, how I sell it. So that's something I don't know. I think that
Hmm.
might be the answer.
So let's fast forward the other direction to a hypothetical future where you decide to sell your platform and you sell it for, I don't know, let's say you end up with 100 million in profit. What would your life look like then? What would you do with the 100 million and the remainder of your time?
Yeah, so that's like you. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's like you hit a jackpot, right? I always, yeah, I don't know what tomorrow is gonna like, but I know
Hmm.
what I can do today and what I
Hmm.
can build a better product, serve the customer better. Let's say, imagine if I have $100 million in profit, I would think, as long as the board asks me to do it, I'm continue to do it because I'm enjoying the job. And, it's really, I enjoying the journey. You're not saying, okay, you have $100 million in the bank, just go away. I cannot imagine that I don't work. I mean, right?
Hmm.
And, yeah, but basically I enjoy what I'm doing because that's part of life. And,
Hmm.
you know, yeah, yeah, that's what I think. I think nothing will happen. I will just work the same way as I'm doing. I will enjoy doing that.
You mentioned earlier that you had kids, is that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So do you find that entrepreneurship ever conflicts with being an active father in their lives?
Oh, yes. And, I think, because of what I'm doing, I think my kids, they kind of like also trying to say, oh, I want to make a business. I told them, yeah, business is hard. Right now, your best chance is to start it, get the fundamentals, and then, yeah, my kids they say, oh, I want to start a business, but I don't want to work for somebody. Right? Yeah. So basically,
How old are your kids?
yeah, I have a high school and I have like a middle school.
Okay.
Like a elementary school. Yeah, so I have three kids. Yeah. So, but
Do you want them to become entrepreneurs?
yeah, I think if you do something, you have to do something you enjoy. Yeah, and for the younger one, I don't know, but for the older one, looks like he's also going to the CS route. And then he said, "Oh, I do CS. I may have an idea, and then
Hmm.
I may make it a reality." Because it really for computer is that all you need to do is your brain and it's your laptop, and maybe you have a partner, business partner, and two or three people, and then you can start a thing. And if you're young, you can fail, right? And then you could, try to figure it out. Yeah, I think,
Hmm.
hopefully that works for him. But then at least now he said, oh, hey, you want to do this major, and then later on, maybe, hopefully, do a business. Yeah.
So with three kids, that's a fairly, I think that's above average size in family. Does financial pressure ever like keep you up at night?
No, no, because I think I'm doing very well. Oh, I'm
Okay.
not, I think I'm doing okay. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, yeah, I think God has been nice to me and I appreciate everything I have. And
Hmm.
yeah.
Would you say anything keeps you up at night?
Uh, no, 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 yeah, no, yeah. Because, I enjoy what I'm doing and I don't, I, yeah, there's nothing keeping me awake at night. No, yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
only,
good.
yeah, everything is a mindset, right? If you worry about too much, what you can worry about? Is the sun gonna rise tomorrow? Is it cold ever gonna end? I
Hmm.
put that in God's hand. I'm okay.
So how do you decide? So since you're an entrepreneur, there's no real like, there's no 9 to 5, right? You define what your commitment to your work is and what your commitment to your non-work things are. How do
Mhm.
you choose to split the two?
Yeah, so let's say at home, right? Let's say sometimes I make dinner. Yeah, I make dinner for family.
Hmm.
And then, also, over weekend, I say, I sometimes I hiking for a bit. And then also my son, he bought those electric bike, I have two bike. We just ride around urban everywhere. Yeah. So yeah, it's, we drove like hundreds of miles and, in urban. So basically spend time with my kid because they're going too fast and, I really enjoy it. And, yeah, so mostly that's what I do when I don't work.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Do you have a philosophy of leaving? Do you have an office or do you work from home?
Yeah, I have an office, but right now, most time I work at home. Sometimes I
I
go to
see.
the office. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It used to
Do you
be,
have a philosophy of leaving work at work and being present at home, or how do you, or do you bring work from your office and work from your home from time to time?
no, actually for startups like our size, there's no like a separation, right? Because
I see.
you always think about how to do things, right? So you don't say I go home, I don't forget about work. Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
have two more questions.
yeah.
What advice would you give to founders or soon-to-be founders who are watching this show?
Yeah, I would think my first advice is that, okay, before you do it, you gotta really just do some competitive analysis. I mean, really do good competitive analysis. You have to do something novel, and or have to do something different. Because if you
Hmm.
want to catch, just say, oh, you know, I think this is new, and you may just Google around or goofing around, right? So this is very important because otherwise you're gonna waste a lot of time and energy trying to solve a problem people already solving, and then
Hmm.
it's very hard. Yeah, if you are the first one in something and really just build MVP. I mean, minimum viable product. Don't say, oh, I spent 10 years try to build something perfect and go out. I say, if you can build something in 6 months or even 3 months and go out and test water. And then, that's the second advice. The third advice is that you got to find a partner. Just the startup journey, maybe you have two, most of three people, because sometimes let's say you have two or three people, you so they have different skill than you, and then you guys should have the same vision. You should have a good chemistry, right? Because just lonely, just to work on a startup alone is lonely still. You have like two or three people, your successful chance is a lot higher. So basically, you might as well just split the equity, right? Because you want to the core idea is that you want to build the pie, a big pie, right?
Hmm.
The pie is big, and even though you split it, you still have a bigger pie. And then because they say if you own 100% of a company, what's nothing still nothing, right? So basically, make it big and think bold and you know just do it, I guess.
And the last question is, what's the best way for our viewers to get in touch with you?
Get in touch with me and hopefully if you are business owner, you want to try wikipro.us, let's go to wikipro.us and try our free trial. It's free, right? Take 2 minutes to sign up. And then otherwise, if you're, now you just go to LinkedIn, go to my LinkedIn profile and try to connect with me. And then, we can have some fun.